Welcome to the 2019 Coca-Cola Cultural Presentation. We are dedicated to promoting optimism, happiness, and responsibility in our company and with our partners. Part of that responsibility includes being respectful in the workplace here in the U.S. and abroad. In this segment, we will be exploring cultural practices and expectations in high-context cultures such as Brazil.
Cultural differences between countries can take many different forms. Most commonly, we associate culture with items such as food, language, traditions, and even holidays. Although those may be fun to celebrate with local residents in Brazil, it is imperative to recognize the unspoken differences as well.
High-context cultures such as Brazil rely on relationships built on trust and nonverbal communication, much more than we do in the U.S. Individual identities are built on groups such as family or culture, and this social structure is centralized in the workplace. Situations, people, and nonverbal elements are much more important than the spoken word, and meaningful interactions are defined by motions such as facial expressions and tone of voice. This means that meaningful relationships must occur in business before any kind of transaction can be made.
This is very different from customs in low-context cultures, such as the United States. In cultures such as our own, we rely heavily on explicit information and depersonalization of ideas and work. This means that privacy is important and workplace communication is limited to exchanging ideas and information. This aims for a more rational and less personal approach to business interactions. Individual identity is built upon accomplishments and social structure is decentralized.
But why is it so important that we examine these differences? Cultural sensitivity is important because it allows us to work effectively in places such as Brazil, it helps us to value and respect other cultures, and it can help break down any barriers between professionals. By learning how to interact with different cultures, we can avoid any awkward interactions or missed opportunities in the future.
In cultures such as Brazil, it is very important to be respectful when greeting your coworkers. Since social hierarchy is integrated in the workplace, employees must be very polite to supervisors and always greet with respect. Brazilians are very close-knit and will greet each other with handshakes or even kiss on the cheek. That said, Brazilians always use formal titles, such as Mr., Mrs., or Doctor, with their executives and usually don't question their instructions. Although we may be used to an open-door policy in the U.S., many other cultures are not as laid back.
In Brazil, time is rarely of the essence. Unlike the United States, where time is money, Brazilians have a rather unhurried approach to business settings. This is not meant out of disrespect, rather it is simply how business is done in Brazil. Meetings may begin late and run longer than expected, as well as lunch and dinner breaks lasting for 2 to 3 hours. This may stem from the Brazilian priority of family and life outside of work. They will often use all of their vacation days and work simply to make ends meet for their families. This is very different from low-context cultures such as our own, where we tend to feel defined by our work and take tasks very, very seriously. Lastly, it is important to remember that Brazilians do business with people, not corporations. In order to successfully conduct business in Brazil, efforts must be made to form personal relationships with executives, and a lot of time will be spent dining and drinking coffee in order to gain trust. Especially as a new business partner, you must be able to make a connection or else you risk losing any opportunity at business. This is why work deals take so long in Brazil and why business may not be discussed at every meeting. Brazilians tend to feel offended by American attitudes of separating work and personal life. The key is to find a middle ground that pleases both parties and makes everyone feel welcome.
In the end, learning how to conduct business in other countries can be a challenge, however necessary to be part of the global market. Understanding the differences between high-context and low-context cultures, as well as being mindful of different perspectives, can make a large impact on the success of a company. As we continue our mission of the promotion of optimism, happiness, and responsibility in the global market, we hope that this video has been helpful and wish you the best of luck for your adventures in Brazil. Safe travels!